Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is the Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to a little bit of Endless Space 2. So we're continuing along playing as the Vodyani as we have mentioned from earlier. Seriously considering popping my fleet up here so that I can defend against these guys if these guys decide to get a little bit belligerent with me. But for now, this should be okay. We're a little bit worried as well about the Leecher over here getting taken out in Ibani. I definitely need to start thinking about building up some military ships. The major problem is that, again, I haven't really found anything to improve my military ships out from their original design loadouts. And without improved weapons, these guys become pretty much just trash. Although, admittedly, fairly cheap to build trash. The build cost of these is only 130 or 193 construction points. So I could start spamming them out just to have numbers on my side here, but this isn't really a game where numbers works in the same way that it does in certain other ones. So that wouldn't really help me all that much. Now, to defend myself, I can also pretty quickly probably get... I can probably get another arc here that can pop up and attack these guys before he can attack me, so we'll have to hope for that happening. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit end turn, see what happens. I think we're running close to another election here, and we've got some stuff going on. One of the things I want to actually take is Iena, because the Transvines are actually a really, really good resource, so we might get into a bit of a fight with these guys. Yeah, up yours. He's already being pretty aggressive with me, so, you know, it becomes much, much more relevant for us to get into a fight with this guy, so... As he becomes more and more aggressive, that's going to become more and more of a priority for us. Other than that, though, let's continue along here. Ooh, Elion over here. A very, very nice place to explore, it looks like. So that's going to be interesting. We can actually stop siphoning from Ibani. So we could actually keep siphoning for this turn and then praise these guys a bunch of times to get all the way up to +10. And then we can speed the process up a little bit by removing Harvest Essence for a turn. So this will pop us up to plus like 12 or 13 or something like that for a little while. And this is because we were going to have enough to get our next arc by next turn regardless. This also means that I could potentially send my Leecher back to Primus. The reason that I might want to do this is that if I send him here and he's in this in-between space lane, he's safe. You can't attack a ship that's in between in transit in this sort of way. But I think I'm going to just not worry about that for now, even though that might be a good call. I'm just going to not worry about that. This wheel over here hasn't quite got what it needs to do a scout. This guy has landed at M29, so we're going to send him up north here. Alright, and we found Gemini. I actually know quite a few Geminis, but I personally am a Sagittarius. And as the quote goes, we tend to be skeptical and don't believe in that sort of thing. Which actually describes me pretty well. I can't remember who said that. I believe it was Arthur C. Clarke who said that. But I actually love studying astrology and stuff like that. But I don't actually believe in it. I just think that's a lot of fun to study and sort of correlate with. And like I know that the sort of obvious reason why there's so many things that apply to me that are in that is because it's so generalized that it's designed inherently to fit no matter who the hell you are. Like anybody's going to fit with whatever they're saying because so much of it's just normal. But anyway, let's go ahead and get an arc. The Mark III is still fine, and then we'll obviously get the public-private partnership right after that anyway. So that's fine. We can also go ahead and turn this back on. And we're seeing these guys popping in, so we might be able to get all 4 of these ships in next turn with our arc, which would be really good, actually. So these guys popping in here, let's go ahead and scout out whatever's over here. So ruins, this is where we start potentially to turn things around and find some tech that's worth building. Get a chunk of titanium. I'm wondering if they patched out the availability of those sort of items or reduced the likelihood of getting them or something like that, because it's been a couple games now that I've been finding it really hard to get these things, and it used to be really common. These are both subterranean. It's probably just things like titanium and stuff like that, so... Adamantium, okay. So depending on what that other one is, that could become a very, very interesting colonization point. But for now, that's fine. So after that, we can send this guy over to Volans. Might as well. And that should all be fine, because we'll get this guy down to Nakos and then to Elion. I think that would probably be the best route for him. Over here, nothing in Gemini, so we can check up here. We could get to Menace and see what's up there, but these guys have, yeah, really spread out. Typically speaking, you do see this guy spreading out quite a lot. The one problem with building this thing at Primus, actually, is that I don't have anywhere great to send this to other than sending it to Volans. If this is a mining site, this actually becomes potentially... No, it's ruins, which are very good for me, but still, it's not what I kind of need in this exact situation here. What was I doing for these guys? Oh, right, they're already under my control here. So we got the shipbuilder's perk already, so that's pretty good. Procyon here, we're still just building this wonder, and it's probably not a great idea for me to be doing that, but I do need that money, and being able to boost our relatively meager science is also probably a good idea. Alright, got these guys up to cordial, whatever. Let's go ahead and fight. Battle against an escort, a patrol, a couple corvettes. So that's all fine. Let's see what the weapon loadout of these guys looks like. It looks like they're going for the standard kinetic weapons there. And missiles on their escort ship, which are not going to do anything, and then kinetics again there. So turtle it works fine here. We're not going to bother watching this one. We're going to go ahead and fight it. And we should be able to easily crush those guys. Yeah, they ran away instead, so don't even get a chance to crush them. That's fine. We're going to actually send this guy over to Thea now. It's going to take us 8 bloody turns to get there, but it's cleared out Primus here, which is the more important thing. I did want to sort of make sure that we got rid of that. And I'm going to start building gouges. Just even though they're not going to do very well, it's going to be better than nothing. These guys stopped siphoning. I'm going to turn that back on. I don't know why that turns itself off from time to time, but it does. Alright. Another set of runes here. Another 20 titanium. Yeah, we're really not getting anything good with these, which is pretty brutal. Send this guy down to Elion. Hopefully we'll get something down that way. Increases science and 80% chance to discover something. Typically this gives you some money. It's not really worth it too much, but it could help us advance our science a little bit, which is hard to advance with us, but I think we're just going to go loot, increase militarism, which I do like as well. Okay, so we've gotten this one cleared off. That's good. And I'm going to hit takeover here. Both these, I think, are actually kind of crap bonuses here, but I prefer takeover just because I think it's a more interesting story objective. If you choose investigate, you end up with a crisis of faith sort of thing where you sort of realize that your religion is sort of a shambles. Whereas if you choose takeover, like the reason that investigate does that is that the person you send to investigate ends up so like obsessed with finding the truth of it that they get all beat up and like emaciated and in really bad condition, and this makes you sort of realize that your sort of obsession with the religion is a negative thing. Whereas with this one, you personally do it, so you're just like, yep, nope, fine, I don't give a crap about, you know, what it takes to do this because I'm willing to do it personally. So you don't have that revelation, and it actually fits these guys a little bit better. So we're gonna, and what they're thinking is, in terms of what their crazy ass religion is not strictly speaking that wrong, given that a lot of what is going on in the galaxy is kind of as they sort of are saying. Alright, so we could potentially try and yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to stop them from getting anything here at Menace, especially because this is an Oculus and it doesn't actually have any weapons, so it's not capable of bombarding those guys down anyway. Alright, so we'll go ahead and hit end turn here. I should actually just send this guy down to Volans. Yeah, we're just going to use official support and we're just going to use religious laws. And as you can see, massively overwhelming sort of victory for these guys. I think ecologists are second somehow. That is bizarre as shit. Okay, well, whatever. Militarists will catch up eventually. That's fine. Right now we're stuck with the laws that we've got anyhow. That's perfectly fine as well. Alright, getting a little bit of stuff out of these guys. Time for diplomacy's over. These guys are just being angry at us. Oh, these guys declared war. Alright, fantastic. So, what we're going to do is actually just send this guy down to Volans. I'm not going to bother sending all the crap all the way down to wherever. Actually, no, I need to send it down to Graphius here. Otherwise, we're going to get sieged out eventually here. It's going to take them forever to actually siege that out. I could get another arc by then. And, well, let's go attack them at Thea, actually. Might as well. There we go. Alright, impervious gear, so this is for landing. So this is the first bit of gear that we've really found, and it's unfortunate because it's not actually attacking gear. Game, you're brutal. Okay, so we've searched a lot of that space around there. I'm going to head down to HD 44179. See if we can maybe find something interesting by doing some scans past there. That might be interesting. Unfortunately, you can't unanchor an arc that's being sieged, so we have to sort of just bear with that for a little while here. In the meantime, though, just building gouges, that's really all we can do there at Primus. I don't mind finishing this off, but let's see if we can actually rush it with money. It's going to cost us 2.9k, so we're just short. Yeah, we need 2,863, and we've only actually got 2,857, so if I had access to the market, we could probably have done something about this, but I don't think I've got access to the market yet. So we're going to have to deal with that a little bit later. We can actually go ahead and components up this, though. So this would earn us +4 per population per planet, which is pretty good, but what I kind of want to do for the first one is get the happiness boost, which would let us change our laws, and sort of get pretty well off because of that. So we're just going to have to wait like one turn before that sort of kicks in there. Now I could be building more ships elsewhere, but it doesn't really help me to be building them in the place that's being sieged out, because it's not like I'll be able to really pop up and fight and actually win against those guys. Okay, so this place is actually pretty colonizable. But we'll probably still send the next one over to Justium, assuming that I'm sending this one over to Iena since I'm now forced to fight these guys. Yeah, so I think that... what have we got still here? Pleione, okay. Just sort of going to scout around this area a little bit. I think there's no reason not to do that. Okay, so yeah, these guys are probably going to get pretty aggressive to me eventually, or pretty quickly rather, but that's fine. I don't really have to worry about that too much. These guys have to make sure they don't get taken over before I can evacuate them, although it doesn't really matter too much since the resources will still be there and I'll maintain their bonus, I guess, either way, so probably not that big a deal. Procyon is interesting because it's like getting cheaper as I sort of go along here as well. Got our trade company HQs, and we've managed to start working on maximized exploitation, which is going to be nice for those lava planets. One of the things I could actually do here, now that I know that I've got this problem, is I can actually go ahead and anchor this guy. And what I'm going to do is redesign my arcs here. And since this one's now an invasion arc and not a colonization arc, what we're going to do is add in one Hyperium engine and one of the impervious gear, which is going to add, change our manpower from, by, like, what is this, by 800? Yeah, by 800, and increase the health of the arc by 400. So this suddenly becomes a much more powerful, world-crushing sort of arc here. So what we're going to do is go ahead, take the arc here, and send it down this way. It should get there. Oh, crap. Hold on. Hold on a second. I forgot to actually do the thing that I have to do, which is, yeah, I forgot to actually upgrade the arc. Hold on a second here. Okay, so we fixed our idiocy here. So let's go ahead and scan this up here and see what we got. It's going to be a new luxury resource potentially, or it could be a weapon. Nope, Transvine, so we kind of knew that that was going to be around. So something else changed actually, and these guys declared war on me this time. Not entirely sure why that is, what changed in there, but apparently there's something different in the good old random number generator in this particular instance. That's fine though. We should be able to weather the storm pretty well. You can see these guys actually evacing away from there. I'm going to need this guy to sort of sit still here by Graphius for like a turn as I sort of replenish my manpower a little bit here. I'm wondering, like, the sensible thing against a real player would be for these guys to actually make the jump to Ibini with this fleet and knock me off of there, and then potentially take those guys out, because they should know that I'm now amicable with these guys, because I think that we're the suzerain of these guys. I think we are. So that's all well and good, but maybe they could do something about that. We got another of the gouges coming in, which is pretty good. We actually have a couple being built, which is going to help us out quite a bit, but what we really do need is more of these arcs here. So let's go ahead and stomp on Thea first. I was wanting to stop here for a bit, but let's not worry about that for now. This place has got a happiness of 60, so we're going to go ahead and increase the happiness here. It's only going to cost us 3 turns, that's fine, and we're building military ships elsewhere anyhow, so have got that sort of underway as it is. I get the feeling like I'm not going to find anything firing off recon probes around there. Also, my mission planet is all the way over here, so yeah, we're just not going to complete that mission probably. And this is the problem with this sort of objective thing that happens in this game, is sometimes it's just not realistic to go for it at all. Alright, so we got Triome scanned up. Let's go and continue exploring. We'll probably lose this Oculus, but that's okay. Not really super important for us to keep our Oculuses past a certain point in the game. Yep, faction suzerain ship stolen by Yukitsu, so we've now become the suzerains of these guys. Other than that, though, continuing along, we're getting an arc every 15-ish turns, I guess, I don't know. But we're getting them pretty quickly, all things considered. We've now got 3 ships here. These guys, I believe, are half health. Random science. Abso-goddamn-lutely. Let's go ahead and grab that. So we'll figure out what that is later. Who the hell are these guys? Second fleet of a bunch of Horatio ships. And a bunch of other random goddamn things. Okay, our manpower is slowly trickling downwards here. It's going to take us 2 turns to get this gouge as well. And my fleet limit's pretty low, but it might be a good idea for us to pop out and start fighting these guys while these guys are still sort of weakened. Their attack power is 87. What's our attack power? It's 36 and we got 129 defense. Now this is actually pretty normal when you're playing as the Vodyani to have significantly lower offense, because you've got much less offensive base slots than these fleets here. But we do have more defensive slots, which is kind of why we are the way we are here. Let's actually check what our gouges have got for defenses. We got 1 armor plate, 2 armor plates. Should actually add in the improved plasma shielding. It's going to help us out a decent amount regardless. The only problem is that, again, we maintain this sort of really lackluster offensive capability. So we could go ahead and upgrade these guys and try fighting, but I think what we're going to do is stick with what we got for now and just keep building up our numbers a little bit. Other than that, though, I think we can make it to Thea this turn. Chunking them down for 16 points every turn. Our military slightly larger than theirs, and not really so much so that I feel like we could easily go in there and crush it. So we're just going to go ahead and slowly siege them down just a little bit, because we want to be able to wipe them out in 1 turn so they can't do the endless reinforcement loop with their populations there. Population is 3, so it's pretty decent. They'd be able to sort of fend us off for quite a while. Ooh, okay. So we'll make the jump to there, and then we'll see what we can find off that. Over here, though, going to do similar. Nothing past Orm. Okay, I think that's looking pretty okay. Down in Procyon, we could actually buy this, although it looks like that's unnecessary at this point. Could get our first trade company, but I might also just want to go for the intergalactic supermarket. So we could go for that, and what we can actually do because of that is go down to Primus and do a rush purchase of that, and then build like... There we go. Okay, so that cost us like all our money, but it should be worth it. I should probably actually be working on military techs, and I'm still going and getting maximized exploitation like a moron. I don't think I actually got the increased manpower. I didn't actually stick this guy around long enough to get that. Ah, we got ourselves a new hero. I'm going to go with the scientists here. It's going to be pretty much okay there. And we gotten our legendary objective there, the Endless Research Park in Endless World. And that's a pretty good planet to have it because it's got the maximized happiness value there already. So that'll be able to take advantage of that pretty well. Assign skills here. What I'm actually going to do is have you fight right away. I don't need the shield capacity on the entire fleet. So I don't think that I actually really need this character to have anything that fights right now because I don't have any bonuses that are good for that. So we're instead going to get Blue Sky Speculator anyway. But we're going to, for the next little while, just be fighting with this character here. So Primus over here has gotten a big old navy. Managed to get ourselves a pretty big one there. And I just have to remember the name of the system here, Primus. Alright, let's get into our Heroes tab here. Oh, this guy's got some levels, crap. Okay, could have had Optimal Operations Expert capped out a while ago. Alright, so we'll grab that and then get Inundations of Dust next, but for now this is okay. And you... Let's go ahead and upgrade your ship a little bit here. We want to have at least one of these Hyperion engines. We can get rid of the standard. For these sort of things, we could actually go with Sainted Speed. That could be interesting, but I think more likely we're going to go with the nano repair bots for one of them. I think that's probably all we can really do here. Replace one of these with shields, and for weaponry, I think we're going to go with one laser rather than the missile, because the missiles are not really going to be that good in my fleets. I don't have enough weapon slots for the missiles to really apply. So we're going to go ahead and create fleet, and we're going to create you in... I can't in Primus, okay. So not really that surprised about this, but what can we do here? 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the question is this 2 fleets or is this 1 fleet? Okay, so this is 2 fleets. We'll upgrade these. And I think we can add to that fleet now, so... Yeah, we can, okay. Let's not do it to the one that's locked down there. First Virtuous Crusade, 4 to 4. Okay, confirm that. So that should help out our firepower to a certain extent in this area. We've also got these 2 ships over here. So can we fight back here? Or am I going to be completely crushed? So the question I've sort of got to ask myself is, do I fight these guys first or do I fight the other guys first? These guys all have shields, which is interesting. Since that means we'll be dealing actually pretty full damage to these guys, whereas they're going to be dealing reduced damage against our hull armor, rather. So our offense is actually a little bit more powerful than it sort of is indicated, but not much better than is indicated. I think we hold out for a little bit longer there. Let's go ahead and continue building gouges. Don't have enough to buy any right now, but that's okay. Over here, Thea, we're able to sort of continue wearing them down a bit. Probably can get through them once I get down to 100. So that's probably what we're going to have to do there. Oh, so I just got one of those levels. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. So yeah, we got those guys. We got this guy who needs to continue siphoning. I do wonder sometimes why that keeps canceling itself. Okay, so let's head down here. Maybe we'll find something if we head down that angle. And then Hadar over here. Let's just scout out the planets that are nearby. After that, we can go ahead and hit, probably hit end turn again. We might get in a fight here. If we do, I'll actually have to fight it probably, but I don't know. Do I want to initiate the fight then? Maybe I do want to initiate the fight, actually. Yeah, just to make sure that we don't end up with like anything sort of weird going on here. Yav's got 1 escort ship, so that's interesting. Let's go ahead and hit the fight button. We're selecting Turtle because it'll increase our armor, which is effective against all their weapons there. We did kill 2 of their corvettes, which is actually pretty good. And we only lost 2 of ours, so it's actually more like a draw. So all these guys, let's go ahead and create and then merge these fleets together. So yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Like, we're not like getting an edge or an advantage, but it's proving that I'm able to sort of fight back against these guys, and this is going to reduce the amount of attrition that our planet's taking. So if we can pop enough of their ships that I can sort of get them off of there, so that they're no longer sieging, I'll also be able to sort of send in a bunch of I'll be able to pop my arc off and then have it fight these guys, and it'll be able to crush all of them. We found the home planet of the True Horatios here. So that's interesting. It's got the transvines, so taking these guys out is going to get us more and more of that lovely, luscious resource that we want to have access to. Over here, we're going to get this one regardless, so I can't really rush by it. Bit unfortunate. Well, it's not unfortunate because I don't need to rush by it, but you know what I mean. So here's where we have to hope and pray that we manage to get something good. So what have we got here? Life form, those are safe, usually. Signals can be dangerous. Runes can be dangerous, but they're usually pretty okay. So we'll do it in this order. Basic perfected slugs. Perfect. That's exactly the sort of thing that we needed. That was this. All the remaining curiosities in Ilion have been revealed. God damn it. Alright, so we found the Orichalcix. We found 20 Gossamer. Would have been nice if I'd actually done that one first, but whatever. Okay. We'll launch this one as a sort of like thing over to there. So it looks like there could be something over that way. Looks like let's just fire off random probes again here. You never know what you're going to find and when you're going to find it. But okay, so this is perfect because the basic perfected slugs is a big difference in terms of firepower over what we've currently got on our ships here. So we're going to go ahead and pop in 2 basic perfected slugs, and this actually brings us up almost a parity in terms of firepower. So we're going to go ahead and apply that design there. Actually, what the hell have I got for defenses on this thing? You know, I almost kind of want to add in change the warp drive out for the Hyperium or the Sainted Speed. Either of these is actually pretty good. 10% ship evasion is quite strong, but 70 extra hit points just is always guaranteed to be pretty good. Let's go with this one. The reason I kind of like Sainted Speed is it doesn't actually cost us actually, you know, we don't have a good Hyperium source, so we do have to go with Sainted Speed here. So let's go ahead and apply that design there. So what we can do here is try and upgrade some of our ships. I think we can only afford to upgrade 1, but that's fine. And then we can go into Primus here and we can cancel this ship, and then get 2 new ones. So these are going to be more expensive now. That is definitely something we have to be worried about. But at the same time, I think that we should be okay. I think we hold out here. Can I afford to upgrade this? Why do I have 3 gouges here? Oh yeah, never mind. Oh right, it automatically has to repair these ships as well, so that's part of the cost. So yeah, now we've got 2 gouge 5s. Much more powerful ship. Yeah, that one that needs to be repaired a little bit is the one that's costing us all that money. Okay, so that actually works out really well for us. We finally found some goddamn weapons. To hell with you, game. Anyway, let's continue on. We're going to actually continue building these ships here in places. Looks like this place will benefit once we get access to maximize exploitation as well, so getting access to that is going to be a good thing, as Martha Stewart would say. For some reason I know like a little bit about women's talk show hosts, more so than I know about like men's talk show hosts and stuff like that. I was in a trivia thing in like high school. So fun, that's lovely. But yeah, I was like the entire class. It's like I was the only person in the entire class that knew that Oprah Winfrey had been sued by the cattle industry, and I'm not entirely sure why I knew that and why all the girls didn't know that. It's just one of those things. I don't know. Either way, though, yeah. So this place is down to 152. Still gonna need to wear them down a little bit more, I think. So these guys, how are we looking at this guy? Yeah, we can upgrade this guy now. And then we can also go ahead and pop these guys out, and I cannot quite afford to upgrade him, but we're pretty damn close. Okay, so this is a 4 out of 4 fleet, and one of our gouges is weaker, but the rest of them... So this should actually, yeah, this has swung a little bit in our favor. They've got 2 of these escort ships. The escorts are actually still pretty annoying. One of them is missile, though, so the missile one's going to be completely useless. Turtle is still the to-go strategy here. Still no armor, so they're still all shields, so that's really good for us. The thing about the corvettes for the United Empire is that they don't actually have 2 defensive slots. Actually, let's watch this. Let's watch a conventional gunship battle in the early game between 2 factions in the early stages of their development. So I do have 5 ships to their 6 in total. He's chosen to get lucky, so he's more likely to get, or he does more damage with critical hits. Whereas I've got plus 55% hull plating absorption. This doesn't actually mean that I take 55% less damage or anything like that. What it means is that the hull plating that I've got increases the value by 55%. So I think we got 20, so I end up with 30 or something like that, which is still pretty damn good. Considering I've got the mono hull plating, I think we've got 30% or so. Top that off with like the shields and the Sainted Speed, and we're looking at pretty durable ships here, by contrast to where our opponents are fielding. I forgot to add in the basic perfected slugs on my my capital. Now I do have to get through the escort ships, which are much more durable than their standards, and both sides do focus fire, so one of my ships you can see is getting eroded down pretty damn fast here, whereas their 2 defensive ships don't take as much damage as quickly, but we will be able to pop them fairly quickly, I suspect, just because we have got pretty good firepower overall and much higher defenses on our ships here. So if we can pop their ships faster than they can pop ours, then we're going to be in good conditions here. Yeah, there goes the first one. We should be focusing down their 2nd defensive ship, because that's how it works, is the escorts take the flak and they take the fire. We lost one of ours now, so that's going to suck a little bit, but our fire, I think, was getting split between the escort and both their escorts anyway, so... These guys are surprisingly durable considering they also don't have any armor. Now we are onto the meat of their fleet, though, which is these Crusader, or these Corvettes, and the Corvettes are actually extremely fragile. They don't have very many hit points, and they don't have any armor at all, and they don't get any bonuses to armor, so we're focusing on firing them. We're going to be able to take a couple of them out. I think we should be able to take out 3 in total. We're down to just 2 of our ships plus the hero ship, though, and that's pretty bad in terms of overall firepower. Like, we're losing firepower very fast. Hopefully we lost our Mark III, though. 5. No, we still got our 3, unfortunately. So they focus-fired the correct targets, I suppose you could say. I wonder if they actually have got a module that increases their crit chance. Yeah, so our damage per second, because we lost 2 of our main damage dealers, and we're about to lose our other damage dealer, has gone down faster than theirs by quite a wide margin, so it's a bit unfortunate, but still clearing their ships out, and we're still building ships here, so... Oh, wow, we didn't actually build... weren't able to actually pop a 3rd. It's considered a draw, which I'm actually willing to go for here, because they do sort of have that numbers advantage over me. So as we're sort of eroding away at their numbers here, like, we took out 3 of their ships, including 2 of them. 2 of their ships are on incredibly low health, so we're able to sort of gradually wear them down, and they can't reinforce anywhere near as quickly as I can, so that's all fine. Although it's taking a while to build this ship, and they're coming in with reinforcements right now, but that's all fine. Alright. Over here, things are going as they're going. It's going to take us a while to get down to the amount that I want to, but should be okay. Still not seeing anything to jump to with these recon. In particular, it's kind of surprising that I haven't seen anywhere to jump to with this guy. Alright, let's just, I think, hit and turn. If we get in this next fight in Primus, I can actually probably upgrade this gouge to the gouge 5, and I can probably repair the other one. So let's go ahead and get into our tech screen here. So I don't really need ubiquitous surveillance, because I don't need the support module from that. So let's get N-Wave Fusion probably. Actually, yeah, so we don't need ubiquitous surveillance. Oops. Don't need, I said. There we go. Only takes 1 turn for us to get that. After this, we'll be grabbing Autonomous Construction probably, because I do really like the Titanium A2S slugs. And we might also want to consider getting the basic Sync Laser, because the basic Sync Laser and the Cloth of Shielding. The Cloth of Shielding is actually kind of redundant, so we got a shield upgrade. But it could be a good idea otherwise. So we'll see how that goes. Over here, though, we can go ahead and repair this guy, I think. Well, we can upgrade this guy, and can we repair this guy? No, that is expensive as hell. Okay. Either way, 2 more turns before we get into this. I think that by the time they can actually properly start invading me, I should be able to actually just fight them with another arc here, but this is still quite an annoying fight here. Okay, what have they got in terms of their fleet here? They've got 2 groups of Corvettes, actually, so I might be able to fight them one group at a time. Looks like they've switched to an energy balance and a different balance here. So these guys actually are type 6. I have to actually be really careful about what I'm fighting now, because the 6 is a close-range monster. So let's go ahead and fight this Battle of Primus here. Yeah, so I don't want to actually be using Turtle as my strategy. I want to be using something more like... well, probably going to have to use powered shields here, even though our shields are kind of mediocre. But this will completely shut Corvette 6 here out, and if we can take out 4 and 5 here really, really quickly, then we won't have to deal with Corvette 6 and its bullshit. Did manage to get the decisive victory, and the reason is that 2 of these ships went down super fast. We probably killed that one, and then that one probably didn't get any shots off before it died in close combat. So this relieves a lot of pressure off our capital, which is the most important thing here, or not our capital, but Primus there. We do apparently need to get some stuff down here with gouges. Let's It's going to take us a little while before those productions start rolling off the assembly line there, but that's okay. We should be able to get fleets and so on and so forth faster, or we should be able to take out Thea faster than they can take out Graphius. Even though Graphius has like fairly poor manpower and stuff like that, typically the Vodyani don't have that much defensive ground forces. And like the defensive ground forces that they do have actually have bonuses anyhow, so it's probably okay. Okay, so our next expansion, I'm going to send up to Justium. I just need the resources. I need access to the Titanium. I need access to the Hyperium. After that, though, continuing one of our presses down this way, we're going to get Iena with this arc, so I don't need to really worry about that otherwise. Yeah, so this is going okay here, I think. I think actually after N-Wave Fusion and the basic A2, the A2S2 slugs, we're going to want to work towards getting our larger ships here, because we're going to eventually need to upscale our ships. Actually, what I need to do is upgrade our fleet size. Fortunately, you get that with the same tech that you get with the Titanium A2S slugs, so we'll be able to get coordinated command and get larger fleets that way, I suppose. So let's go ahead and hit next turn. And with Primus cleared, like we could actually have these guys sitting here defending, and then pop our arc out and attack whatever is sort of sieging that Primus now. So let's go ahead into our technology screen. Let's get the autonomous construction. It's going to get us take us one turn to get that, which is pretty cool. You guys, let's go ahead and have you guard. Procyon is doing a pretty good job of getting itself to where it needs to be. Over here, what would a ground forces invasion look like? Well, it would be 120 of our infantry, 220 of our infantry, so 44 infantry ground forces versus 12 and 4 tanks. So the fact that they've got tanks is a little bit worrisome, but we should actually still be able to press through that. I just don't want to risk doing it because I do have to kill all their stuff in one go. One of the things that I should actually look into doing, though, is actually upgrading our ground forces. So we don't really have the money for this right now, though. Well, let's do that one anyway. I'm going to have to get it eventually anyhow, so confirm that. Alright. And we just have to sort of like spam out ships for the next few turns here. Alright. So we got that. Going to start working towards, again, our... I think that for... I don't need the Academy Embassy because I don't need Xenology here. Normally when you get this tech, that's what lets you start getting heroes. But in this case, I can go ahead and grab Adaptive Bureaucracies and make that our Tier 2 development tech. And this will get us those barren planets, which are kind of good, kind of bad, and it'll get us the Denark University, which is quite good. But this is what's going to get us access to the next tier of warships. And I've got sort of two options. If I've got tons and tons of titanium, one of the ways that you can do it is actually get the Enhanced Slime class, which also gets you access to the exotic rations, which is pretty good. The alternative is I jump straight to the mediums and get the Letum, or the Gium, which is pretty strong. The mediums for the Vodyani are, again, sort of a mix of durability and offensive capability with a sort of an emphasis on... more of an emphasis on durability than most people's medium ships. A lot of people have like tons and tons of weapon slots. The Vodyani tend to have tons and tons of defensive slots along with a few weapons. So I would say that they sort of more... They also have support slots though that they can use to increase their firepower and their weapons abilities. Okay, so the Horatio are over here. They've got the weapon type 6s. They've got much weaker weapons. They've got pure short range energy. And they've got pure armor, so it's going to be hard for me to carve through their stuff to a certain extent. The gouge that I've got here has got much higher overall offensive capability, but I still would have to be able to kill these guys off before we could get into close range, and I just don't have the ability to do that right now. One of the other things I should do is actually edit our battle tactics. Revive and rebuild is absolute trash, so we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so barrage fire could actually be really good for us, especially if we feel like we're going to be outnumbered in a lot of fights. Since it'll keep us at long range, especially since we're starting to see some people running in with the long range weapons. This becomes quite good, so we're going to go ahead and take that. So this is the one that you run when you want to take out a lot of these small short range ships that are packing the laser weapons, close range laser weapons. Very effective way of dealing with that. In the meantime, though, let's go ahead and hit end turn here. See how things are going after we do that. We should be getting quite a lot more money once we get the intergalactic supermarket. It's worth quite a lot of money, and despite the numbers, it's worth a lot more than it looks like. Crap. Okay, actually no, this is just all good. Plus 60 food is like theoretically good, but like it doesn't benefit me as much as it does other people, so definitely want to take the remove thing. Alright, so I kind of want to get this done with so I can jump this thing back over to Graphius and have it fight those guys, but still risky. This is still kind of risky. Let's go ahead and pop one more upgrade. I think we can afford another upgrade. Yeah, we can. Okay. So we'll confirm that, and that's like the best I can do, and that is plus 20% infantry damage. And that's sort of the important one if you don't care about taking losses and just want to make sure that you're able to crush the ground forces there. So, should be able to do this in one. We're going to go ahead and use preemptive bombardment. The reason is that the maximum sort of amount of manpower deployed is way below the limit anyway. So the fact that we're using this doesn't actually decrease that. Can't use Blitz because we're way lower than the limit anyhow. Our health doesn't matter because we're trying to do as much damage as possible, and the fact that we're taking reduced damage also doesn't matter, so preemptive bombing is definitely the way to go here. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what a ground fight looks like. I don't think I've showed you guys one of these yet. I actually think they're kind of cool. They're, again, just an auto-calculation with the graphics thing here. So these are the Vodyani forces, the ground forces over here, and you can see that orbital bombardment coming in, dealing some initial damage here, and then we've got the Horatios over here. Now, the Vodyani actually have the best infantry in the game, bar none. So even though they've got the more advanced tank, I'm not going to be able to deal enough damage fast enough here. Even though they've got like advanced tanks, the Vodyani infantry actually deal more damage overall. So yeah, I think he chose reinforcement. I forgot about that, the fact that he'd be able to do that for this one here. So I'm probably going to have to just fall back with my arc. That's fine though, because we chopped one of their populations this way. Actually, we might have reduced them by enough that I can take them out in another phase. Yeah, because they used conscription, they lost a population there. So what they've got remain, yeah, no, actually it is going up for them, so. Okay, so we're going to opt to retreat here. I'm just going to move these guys up this way. We're going to get our manpower up to cap, and that'll just let us have an overwhelming enough composition against them that I can just sort of crush them. So it's going to delay us a little bit, but that's okay. Oh, shit. I think I have to go back a turn, because I think I forgot to build an arc. I hate it when I get like too enthusiastic over zealous about things, and then I forget to do very, very basic things, so I will be right back. Okay, so we're back. We fixed that. I just realized that this hasn't actually done that ground assault. That didn't work out quite well. And for some reason I'm not allowed to do a ground assault right now. I don't really entirely know why that is, but okay. Maybe it's because there's a fleet and I have to get rid of it first. I can't remember what the mechanics for that particular are, but in any event, yeah, we sort of fixed that. I went in and just leveled up our guy that was in Procyon. We've managed to sort of figure out what we're doing at the most basic of levels here, but there's not a whole lot for me to do right now. I'm probably going to jump this guy over and start scouting out this sector, but other than that, you know, maybe send a couple scout probes out again. Just, there's got to be something around here, like, it's very, very strange that there's nothing there, but in any event, we got these guys. I could actually get these guys to become a little bit more useful to us. I mean, minus 10% consumption kind of goes in towards negating one of the penalties that the Vodyani have anyway, so maybe we want a little bit of that. But we're finally starting to push back some of these guys that are kind of aggressing into my territory here. I could actually probably fight these weapon 6s pretty soon, but that'll take a little while here. We've got ourselves working on the applied cryogenics. I've decided that I do want the GIM class. I do find it to be a little bit stronger. And then after that, we're going to work on neurorobotics. After that, unstable isotope, that's going to be sort of the route that we take. Like the stuff in here is just not really that useful to me. Like titanium shrapnel just doesn't really do anything for me, but unstable isotope would be quite good. Beyond that, for this, like you're only allowed to either pick the energy weapons, so these ones, or you can take the kinetic ones. In our particular case, since we do already have the basic perfected slugs, it actually might make sense for us to take the Hyperium magnetics. And this is good because I also like the improved sync laser. over the titanium slugs. The reason is the ultra-dense slugs don't really have any specific unique bonus to it other than the fact that it's able to crit. But you can crit with lasers by default anyway, and you've got a higher crit sort of thing going on with these. What's interesting about these is that they give your opponent a minus 20% accuracy penalty for 10 seconds, and these things fire fairly quickly. And they've got comparable damage per second to these guys, a little bit less, but since they've got the higher crit rate, it ends up being pretty much similar. And because of that, like, this is actually a fairly good defense-oriented weapon. I kind of like it for that purpose, especially if there's people that are building these improved pinch beams. And you can combine it, of course, with the basic slugs. So if I'm doing that, I might actually not want to get unstable isotope, because the basic sync laser is kind of useless. We don't need the cloth of shielding, really, and the only thing in here that I really need is the plasma intensifier. So I mean, I might go in there just for that, but we'll see. In any event, though, all right, let's go ahead and hit and turn again. See how things go for us. Should be dropping these guys down to like 50 or 60 or something like that pretty quickly. I can't do math right now, but if I can actually fight them this time, I might. Might be a good idea. Well, actually, I probably should clear out this fleet first, because I think it's, yeah, it is what's blocking that, so. In any event, we got this guy chugging along. We're going to send it again to Justium. Then we're going to have another one sent to Oentho, because that place has got some pretty good resources. Alright, so we can pop these guys up. We can actually get our fleets up to a much larger size now, so that helps out as well. But 2 ships here, these guys are not going to fight this. There's just no way in hell that they're actually going to decide that this is a good fight to be in. We can actually watch this. This is the downside of using the short-range beam weapons. So he's using Turtle, which is going to help him out quite a bit. He's got actually armor this time. I think he must have basic monohull plating or something like that, or even the titanium plating. If he's got 104 defense factor with just one module, or maybe he's upgraded to the second module or second level of Corvette. I don't really know which, but should be able to shred these guys pretty quickly. I do need to diversify my weapons a little bit, just by switching out so I've got both. This thing should be repairing. I've got the basic repair module on it, so it should be repairing after every fight. Well, either way. So here you can see we're opening up fire here, and like we can hit the scan button, and our ships are taking 0 damage, and you can see these guys taking like lots of shots and so on and so forth, and we've chunked their health down by quite a bit, but they can't even return fire, and this is because these things can only be used at the closest range possible. This means that at these longer engagement ranges, which I can guarantee that we start off at a longer engagement range by selecting the farthest distance possible, which Barrage starts off at the longest distance possible, guarantees that we are not going to be starting within range, and it's going to take 2 full combat phases before we see these guys being able to fire even their first shot. So this is why this is such a risky type of weapon to use, the short-range attack weapons. So even though he's quite durable, he's just getting wrecked before he can even use those things and get into close range and be able to dish out the damage. So yeah, I mean, even if you had a fleet of 4, I think we would have actually taken them all out. And if we had taken 3, we could have taken it out without taking any damage. We took out 2 without taking any damage, but I think we could have taken out a 3rd. So yeah, it's just really, really risky type of weapon to use. Wouldn't really recommend it unless you have a particularly good reason as to why you would. And there are good fleet compositions that make use of it, but typically the AI isn't employing the really good fleet compositions to use that, so. Ooh. I knew spamming that shit out would get us somewhere eventually. So anyway, yeah, that's sort of all that is to that. Let's go ahead and just fight this one. And again, like, these guys have got the short-range energy weapons again. We're going to go with Barrage Fire just because we want to be able to take these guys out quickly. And we should be able to take out all 3 of these. Yeah, that was all 3 of them. And this is down to 56. So, I mean, if it screws me over and I don't succeed, that's what I deserve, because I wasn't supposed to have been able to do this turn anyway. So let's just go ahead and hit the button. Going to go preemptive bombardment. He's going to go ahead and use the conscription again, which means he's going to have an increased... Yeah, I didn't succeed. Okay, so, and his manpower increased because of it. So we're going to send our ship back. But anyway, I hope you found this one enjoyable. Let's hit retreat button there. But yeah, I hope you found this one enjoyable, and of course, as always, I hope to see you guys all next time. Just figured that this is about a good place to end the episode as any. So anyway, yeah, probably going to be able to win this war against the Horatio while simultaneously fighting off these guys while expanding. It's a bit tricky, but I should be able to do it. So anyway, hope you found this one enjoyable, and of course, as always, hope to see you guys all next time.